Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today I will be continuing with the Finding Your Voice series that I have just started. So if you're new to this series, I have already done one part, so this is the second part. So I would advise that you would watch the first video first in order to understand what I'll be saying within this video. Other than that, let's get into it. So just a bit of a quick recap from the last video. So the first point that I told you guys in order to find your voice is that you don't have to be loud in order to have a voice, and I linked an obstacle to this as an example from my life, and that was being afraid of judgment, which I explained in the first part. And I'm sure you guys have your own different obstacles. Some of you may even relate to mine, but like I said, I'll be using mine as an example. And on that note, we will go straight on to my second point, which is don't be afraid to speak, no matter who you are speaking to. And I have linked this to an obstacle of mine that is something that I had to face in my life, and it was really hard because it was something that I never expected, and it was a very big life changer, and that is loss and grief. So some of you may know my dad passed away unexpectedly when I was 9. So a big change like that for me at a young age, there was a lot to process, so I was busy processing that rather than finding my voice. So I got a bit sidetracked, I got a bit distracted from finding my voice for God, because I was facing something that I didn't know how to deal with. And so it was quite a long time until I was able to get back on my feet again. So let's just jump straight into the word. And so we'll go into Job chapter 32 verse 1 to 22. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read the main parts of it, as it's quite a big verse. So I would suggest that you would read that in your free time, because it is a really good verse. So just a brief outline. You have Job, who we all know went through a tough time losing his family, and he was being tested, but in the end God rewarded him. And then here we have Job and his 3 friends that are older than Elihu. I think that's how you pronounce it. There are some Bible names that are really hard to pronounce, so I'm sorry if I got the pronunciation wrong. But you have Elihu, who is younger than them, and in this verse he realizes that he has to speak up, because Job and his friends are ignoring the fact that what they have done and what they have said has gone against God. And so Elihu points that out. And so he says in verse 6, I am young in years, and you are old. That is why I was fearful, not daring to tell you what I know. I thought age should speak, advanced years should teach wisdom. But it is the Spirit in a person, the breath of the Almighty, that gives them understanding. It is not only the old who are wise, not only the aged who understand what is right. Therefore I say, listen to me. I too will tell you what I know. I waited while you spoke. I listened to your reasoning while you were searching for words. I gave you my full attention. So for me, as a youth, as a young person, I like to listen because that is how I learn the most from other people's experiences. But in order to speak, age doesn't matter in this case, as it's just a number. But the amount of faith that an individual has matters a whole lot more, despite the amount of experience a person has had of the world compared to others. And so we go on to verse 16, when Elihu continues saying, Must I wait now that they are silent, now that they stand there with no reply? I too will have my say. I too will tell what I know, For I am full of words, and the spirit within me compels me. Inside I am like bottled up wine, like new wineskins ready to burst. I must speak and find relief. I must open my lips and reply. So, overall, this verse is basically saying, don't be afraid to speak, because if you feel as though you can't hold those words in because of what others may think, speak anyway. Because if it makes you feel that certain way, then it must be important, as adults and youth can have different perspectives on things, and that is when a conversation starts, where we learn from each other. So when I talked to my mum about when my dad passed away, she always gave me advice and encouragement, saying that dad would be proud even if he wasn't here to see me get baptized or isn't here to walk me down the aisle at some point in the future. But that doesn't mean that I just sat there and listened, because there were occasions where I used her own words to comfort her, because sometimes even the adults need a reminder from their youth. It doesn't just go one way. It may be her responsibility to protect me as a mum and as a parent, but it goes both ways, because after being raised by and seeing how much a parent cares about you, you feel as though you need to do the same, and that includes those who may not be your biological family. So if you are part of a step family like myself. And so this is when I've learned to take that experience of loss and grief and turn it into a story for anyone to hear, so that they may be inspired to move forward and to persevere, as that's what any loved one would want, even if they aren't here. So I hope you guys have learned something from this video, and on that note, I will see you guys for part 3.